HDR in Tears of the Kingdom is pretty much the same as in Breath of the Wild. That means we're talking about some sort of auto HDR implementation. And in combination with the artistic choice of having most of the time a very washed out look, the same as in Breath of the Wild, HDR as well as SDR doesn't make a very good impression. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. So let's make one thing very clear before we start here. I'm not saying that this game is bad, quite the opposite. If you have a Switch 1 or a Switch 2, Zelda games are a must play. Those are the best games what you can play, period. Full stop here, okay? I'm just talking about HDR, SDR picture in general. In this case, HDR implementation is just not on a great level, okay? But again, gameplay-wise, story-wise, sound, music is excellent, must play. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Thank you. The maximum peak brightness and specular highlights in Tears of the Kingdom, and the same counts for Breath of the Wild, is limited to 1000 nits. And that means that if you have a TV screen monitor with an HDR capability of more than 1000 nits, that just means that you can't use or benefit or take advantage of your display because again, maximum peak brightness is maximum 1000 nits. So this is something what needs to be changed ASAP because nowadays we have monitors, display, screens with a much higher maximum peak brightness. In regards to contrast, dynamic range, HDR black level floor, it's pretty much the same as in Breath of the Wild. Most of the time, you have a very washed out look with, unfortunately, a terrible black level floor. But I also found that sometimes you can actually have a pretty nice HDR picture because the HDR implementation or the HDR in this game is actually capable of reaching 0 nits. I found a couple of samples, especially Link the character can actually show 0 nits. That means you have some sort of pretty good contrast sometimes. Again, most of the time, unfortunately, you have this very washed out look, which is not an issue with HDR in general. That's done by artistic choice. There's not much we can do about it. One of the biggest issues with auto HDR implementations in games is that you're not gaining additional information in specular highlights. And when we're looking at this example at the moment, we can see, yes, the picture is bright, 1000 nits maximum peak brightness. Again, that's not enough for modern TV screen or monitors, but when we're looking closer, you can see actually there's not much difference between the colors, so there's not much to distinguish between those colors or brightness steps. So that means auto HDR, yes, you can have a very bright picture, but in regards to details, it is not even close to a proper HDR implementation. Okay, my friends, so that's just a very quick HDR review to Tears of the Kingdom. And yeah, unfortunately, HDR is on the same level as Breath of the Wild. And the reason for that is we have some sort of a very easy auto HDR implementation here. So it's fake HDR basically. And because of the artistic choice for the SDR version to have actually this washed out look, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, okay? So I really don't like it. So don't get me wrong, if you have a proper HDR screen monitor or display, then just give it a try in docked mode, obviously, because we talked about this, the Switch 2 screen display is just not an HDR screen. It's a slightly better SDR screen, but that's it, okay? I will do a full review for the Switch 2 display compared to the OLED Switch as soon YouTube app is working, because there are all my actually uploaded test patterns on it. So, and I need to wait until YouTube finally found out that there is a Switch 2. Actually, I don't understand why this is actually taking so long, honestly. Anyway, different story. Thank you very much for watching me. I see you guys next time. Bye.